So just to continue what I was talking about in the Facebook, so I'll share the actual rest of this video into the Facebook group and the YouTube channel. Our transition back at the end of 2021 into 2022 just included the addition of some things that we switched around that made sense. I think I was talking about Bitly and the free version, and then we also incorporated Trello, that free version, which I still use to this day. We incorporated 2 virtual assistants, the MyRA platform, Simply Text, and Rocket Lawyer. So I'm just going to focus on the last 4, 5, or 6 that we have here. And I'll start at the bottom. So Rocket Lawyer. So we've always had Rocket Lawyer, but it wasn't a version that was connected to the business. But it's always something good to have a second pair of eyes that allows you to make sure you're going in the right direction. So one of the nice things about Rocket Lawyer is it is a tool that'll let you send in contracts and have legal professionals look over it and give feedback. Simply Text, which is another texting tool. I think it was similar to probably Telegram. And it just allowed us to send group messaging and be able to do it either from a phone or a desktop, so that we were able to track things a little bit more easily, because not every group messaging that you have is what is that called? Is scheduling related. So that was kind of one of the reasons that we opened the door for that. MyRA is another scheduling platform that one of the members here at the NOSA group was introducing, and we played around with that a little bit. And then Valitam, which is a company we use for our virtual assistants, was a company that kind of did the process of recruiting, hiring, management of the virtual assistants that worked with us, which allowed us to do a little bit more on the business development and some of the other endeavors that we took part in. And Bitly, I was talking about, was a short where you can shorten websites. So it's free, guys. So it's something worth making sure that your link that you want people to go to is easy. It'll fit in whatever context that may be in the box or the bullet that you're in. So it's just a way to shorten websites. And that's kind of how we went. And then of course you see over the last 2 years, the price or the expenses around the business operations have almost double, triple, give or take. But that's for 3 or 4 years into the business that things started to happen like that. And then this year was probably where we saw the biggest change, not only for the business, but also for us as an organization. So some of the focus kind of shifted away from doing your full-time, full-force staffing. We, of course, got into some of the development of courses and things of that nature. So in doing that, we wanted to make sure that our visuals, our structure was set up properly. So we spent a little bit more money in things that were going to create a more organizational structure. So of course you see some of the familiar ones, which is G Suite and Trello, again, the free version, but Notion, where you're able to bring together a lot of content and share it with a larger community. And Trello and Notion kind of have some parallels, but Notion was actually the platform we used to create our directory, our NOSA group directory. So depending on what you're trying to do, you know, sometimes it can do it, but when you're working with VAs and other team members, you want to make sure that you're able to do it easily. And this is also a free version of Notion. I think recently we moved on to the pay version. Zoom, again, we're still hanging out with QuickBooks and T-Sheets. Gusto, which is more of your human resources processing, which is just important. You know, some people use Paychecks, ADP. I think it just depends on where your business is, the size of your business. I also tell people you may want to look into doing local or smaller human resource payroll processing types of companies, because they may be able to offer a little bit more of a manageable price point. Again, we're keeping Wix, Thrive. We continue to be a part of the Kamana platform. And then this is where you saw a little bit of a switch where we were no longer using Bitly, but we decided to open the door to Linktree, mostly because in communicating on social media, people say link is in the bio. So that's kind of where Linktree, or click the link here. So Linktree offers a few more options, as well as it kind of offers that drop down piece where people can click the link in the bio and then have options to, attend here, go there, download this, move here. So it kind of highlights the things you want people to go to, and or the things that people are most frequently asking about. Hey, download the resume. You don't want to leave a long link for people to download a resume. You can add it to your Linktree. And I'll talk more about these individually on the YouTube channel. You want to add it to your Linktree, and then they see, hey, application, or email a recruiter, or find out more pay information. It just really depends on what you're using your Linktree for. And then of course, we increased our virtual assistants for the operational piece of the business. And then we continue to use Rocket Lawyer. And then for business insurance, which is something we use in all of these categories, because you need business insurance to run the business, I just included it to touch a little bit on this piece of the topic around when getting insurance. You don't have to use the same company for your general and professional and your workers' comp. I would really encourage people to shop around, try to get not so much the best rate, because there's not a lot of variability, but try to get the best rate, and make sure that you're connected with a broker who can answer your questions, who can walk you through the process, who can, explain things, or, provide insight or what might be happening in the industry so that you can make good decisions. So transitioning your business from Microsoft Excel to Google Sheets into a CRM. That process for us wasn't challenging. One of the nice things is that both Microsoft Excel and Google Sheets has a feature that'll automate it into your CRM. So you're able to format it how they designate it for that particular CRM, and then they'll automatically pull over your contacts. So that was a huge time saver, which was one of the reasons that we decided to do it. And then it allows you to keep track of, hey, ABC facility or ABC client in this location. You can add the contract, so you can do different things so that you're not looking all over the place for that information whenever you need it. Again, I touched on these things, some reasons to change for paper timesheets. I don't think we have too many notices, and you can let us know in the comments who are using paper timesheets. I have heard of some notices mentioning that a specific client wants you to do that, but some of the features that, or some of the reasons that you want to kind of stay away from that as much as possible, is you want to make sure that your scheduling and timekeeping is as accurate as possible. And in doing paper timesheets, it's an unfortunate of our industry. Sometimes people aren't as honestly accurate on their timesheets, but if it's a clock in and clock out, if you have geofencing, that kind of eliminates that need for those things. And then you also want to eliminate potential for human error. It could be, like I said, when you're not providing the most accurate time. It could be that you forgot, or you clocked in, you forgot to fill out the timesheet, so you weren't sure what time you started or what time you ended. So you want to eliminate that so that you're not going back after the fact to kind of connect with supervisors or accounting or payroll to make corrections in that. Electronic timesheets definitely saves you time. It saves times on the employee side. It saves times typically on the client side, and it creates a more accurate data entry so that you can do your calculations for your payroll. This also creates any compliance related things, labor laws, for regulations around any penalties, around overtime, double time, shift diff. All of this stuff can be incorporated in your electronic system, and having paper can sometimes create a storage issue for you as well. The next thing, so one of the things that I talked about at the beginning around using the CRM versus Excel was around the whole hey, we want to pull on our contracts and move them around or connect with them in different ways. And LinkedIn or lead generation is definitely one of those ways to do it. So having their information easily accessible really allows you to use a system in LinkedIn for lead generation so that you can pull in more contacts, so that you can target specific audiences, industries, job titles, or locations. And it can definitely save you a lot of time, effort in that process of cold calling. I know traditionally us, as well as some other NOSAs that have been in the industry for some time, have done your pick up the phone, look through the yellow pages or look through Medicare.gov to reach a potential client, but LinkedIn lead generation is definitely the way to go. Assessing your business needs. So if you're at the point where you're just getting started, I mentioned, and I will totally stand by this, you don't want to just start adding and grabbing tons of technology for your business. So you kind of want to think about what's important. Example would be a payroll processing system is important. You want to think about what can wait. Another example would be a CRM can wait. It's not something that you need early on, but it's something that you want to consider. And it's also something that you want to budget and grow into. Choosing the right technology. This question is posted, or this thought process is on here because you want to choose the right one. So how do you figure out the right one? Some great ways to figure out the right one is understand where you are with technology. Are you someone who needs a lot of support or hand holding, who's kind of not as tech savvy as you would like to be? Are you someone who's willing to jump in, who wants to figure it out, who needs little help, someone who needs visual aids, who needs audio, who wants Zoom session? So really understanding what type of learner you are, as well as where you kind of stand currently from a tech standpoint of view is really important, because then it allows you to know how much of a system or how robust of a system will work best for you. And what I tell people is, one other thing to consider is get referrals. Ask people that have used the system for a while. Talk and ask lots of questions from any rep that you're working with. And then finally, see if you can get free trials, so that you can play around in the system, see if it makes sense, and then make sure that whatever technology that you're using will integrate into like your main systems of your business. So does it integrate into G Suites or Gmail? Does it integrate into Paychecks if that's your payroll system, or QuickBooks if that's your accounting system? That integration is also a time saver and is definitely something to take into consideration. When you're ready. So when you're ready just varies. The timeline that I shared was based on our experience, but you want to kind of think about, hey, am I ready to transition and what that looks like, especially if you have more than a handful of team members. So you're working with a little bit larger than a small team to transition. You want to make sure that you create a good timeline. You're able to train your employees on the new technology, especially if you're also implementing it to employees out in the field, and then do a couple of tests before actually going live. This will allow you to derail any roadblocks, offer solutions to overcome them, and then also, as I mentioned earlier, talk to your vendor to see, hey, is this something that they can fix? One example would be digital signatures. If you have a scheduling system in place that you're using to schedule your applicants, and maybe they also generate a timesheet on the phone, and you want to incorporate a signature piece, that's something you want to talk to your vendor about. It's not to say that those changes will be made instantly, but at least you'll have information out there that'll allow you to, or allow them to consider it in the future. Maintaining the technology. So some things to also take into consideration, and this kind of is where I would touch on like a Wix or a host for your web page, is that those are additional costs and those are ongoing costs. So you always, every year, every month, have to pay a cost to whoever the company is that hosts your website. you have to probably pay a monthly cost or maintenance cost to your payroll processing company. So you want to incorporate those and be mindful of them so that you make sure that it's still benefiting your business as time goes on. And any updates that you need or backup or data, you're able to have access to it. So in conclusion, I just wanted to share my experience. I'm definitely more than willing to hear about you guys. We definitely talk about it a lot in the group about people's experiences with different software. I tell people the transition from paper to technology will take some time. It's not the first thing that you want to focus on when you start your business, but it's definitely something that should be a part of your plan. And you want to do your research around the companies that you're going to be in relationship with when it comes to working with them to provide services. And you think about things like their type of customer service, how long is the training process, is there a contact that you have or IT or any sort of help desk or support department when you're having challenges. All of those things help kind of maintain the seamless operational environment for your business. So you want to make sure that those things are in place, or at least that you're asking the questions, and don't be quick to sign contracts. Over the last few years that I've been a part or founder of the NOSA group and worked with my agency, we rarely sign long-term contracts for a couple of different reasons, because sometimes that particular product may not be a good fit. So tying yourself into a long-term contract makes it harder to get out of it. And then also, you want to give yourself time to experience a lot of different situations and dynamics before doing those things, so that you can really ensure that, hey, this particular product software is a good fit for me. As always, thanks for hanging out with us here at the NOSA group. We're glad to have you. This video and then other content is out on our YouTube channel. We'll also have it here on our Facebook page. If you have any questions or comments, or you want to share your own experience, feel free to do so. Again, thanks for being a part of our community, and we will be chatting with you.